basically the purpose is, you shouldn't be putting your hands on me, so I'm about to beat your ass. That's basically the whole style of that.
Yeah. Well, so let's see, man. When I was in Detroit, dude, I'll tell you what, I keep telling everybody this, and it's like I have a few close friends that that are here that hang out with Jules and I, and um one of them hasn't gotten a chance to uh, see anything of the events yet or meet any of you, but in telling them of my adventures of the martial arts conference in August, our highlights just hanging out the day beforehand and watching Animatrix and stuff like that is always
Mhm.
a highlight that I share. And I wonder if, it seems like in the last few months, even just since that conference, the amount of just rapid progression with the AI stuff that we've seen has just been out the wazoo. So I didn't know if you had any like little tidbits that you wanted to drop on that, but like I'm still waiting, dude, to see my first crazy dude walking around with these Vision Pro goggles on and thinking they're gonna like bump their head into a wall. But I guess they can really like it
See
doesn't look
them. They
like
can
you can
still see
see,
this.
but
They,
yeah, you
they can still see this world. Yeah. Well, that's part of the progression, man. Like evolution and shit. Technology gonna keep on evolving to make life easy. But the thing with that is, the more it evolves to make life easier, the more it evolves to weaponize against people that's using that shit to make life easy. So whether it's weaponized as far as for financial purposes or weaponized for harm or weaponized for control, that's just part of it, man. And it's gonna keep on getting good and better. So it's like it got its ups and downs. Like I always say about me being born in 1974, basically in the 1700s, it's things I like about the future, but it's a lot of things I don't like about the future. You know what I'm saying? Because my generation been waiting for the future. We've been waiting for all the access to all this easy shit and like how we got able to talk on screens and a lot of stuff be at the push of a button, not make things a little easier. But it's like the more intelligence that technology get, the less intelligence humans get. So that's like on a social level, that's on a personal level, that's on an intentional level, that's on a anything level. Like like people take for granted just clouds, like how beautiful clouds are. Just looking up, the fact that you can't touch them, and this is something beyond your creation, your reach. Like this is something this is a wonder of the world. Like this is this nature. Like this means it's something bigger than you, but ain't shit but cloud. People immersed in these screens and everything else. So that's just part of it, man. So another part of it is accepting that and not being mad about what it is. That's just what it is. You can't change or deal with all that. You just make yourself angry. And you be like, people need to, you want to force people to see your way. Just let people if they want so they see it, they don't. You create that reality, your reality, and you deal with that shit yourself. So it's like the AI is something we're gonna have to learn how to live with because it's not going nowhere. It's not, and it's only gonna get better and better, and it's gonna get harder to deal with. But the more you deal with it, the more you can recognize the way it moves, the more you can recognize the faults, and the more you can recognize what it is. So it's not something I would get away from. We can't. We gotta learn how to work it and learn how to utilize it because it's still in baby stage. And you see how fast it's going on. Because at first it couldn't even make hands that well. Now it's making whole videos. Like you didn't see the videos,
Oh
people.
yeah, man. Like they gave a comparison and it was like I don't even think it was over the course of a full year, but it was like when they first started coming out with the technologies, the you know, because the still images are one thing, but the actual live
Yeah,
moving videos, they were like blurry and like these blobs. But now it's like high definition as good as what could come out of Hollywood. So it's just
exactly.
it's just like
Exactly. So it's
yeah.
still like, but then it's like where the appreciation and the value gonna go? Cause like even right now in the music, the appreciation of value in hip hop is super low because so many people rap, so many people is emulating other whatever is hot. You know, you don't have too much individuality. You got a lot of people trying to sound like whatever the trendy sound is, or whatever the trendy words is, or whatever the trendy look is, instead of being different. Hip hop used to be about being an individual and different, like your style, like you creating a whole different way of talking, and you know that shit is out the door, so it ain't no value no more. So it's like it's gonna come down to the same thing with AI because it's gonna be like, are you gonna value that movie, that X-Men movie that was AI generated, or do you value at the movie where the actors actually put the time in and the stuntmen put the time in? Like, which one do you appreciate, or do it even matter? Some people ain't gonna give a shit. If it's good, it's good. You know, like, so you know, it's gonna be two different ways of looking at stuff. You know, so it's gonna be interesting, man. It's gonna be real interesting. But shit, it's evolution though. Like, so we just gotta get with it, get with the program.
Well, let's circle back to the AI because you brought up hip hop. What's your, I guess, both as a creator and also as a listener, like what's your kind of preferred flavor of hip hop nowadays? You know, because I definitely resonate with what you said, and I hope that there perhaps maybe a turning point or a turnaround point for the genre, but I definitely see it, taking some dives into the, I don't know, just into the gutter, I guess, like, and like I feel myself still, resonating more with the older artists, 90s artists and such, and I just don't, they're like both from a vibrational perspective, message perspective, and then also, like you said, it's a lot of it's repeated, and there's not a lot of originality anymore. And it's like I don't know, I think we're all waiting on like something really new and great to come out of the genre because it just feels like the same old, I don't know
Yeah.
anymore.
Well, it's man. When I was younger, man, I remember a rapper saying, I can't. I wish I knew who it was because this prediction came true. So you know about punk rock music, right?
Oh, for sure.
Like, so for you to still know about punk rock music, and that's it don't be on radios and it's not really in the media. It's underground, but it's still huge. You know what I'm saying? So
Sure.
I remember years ago a rapper was saying like, you know, real hip hop. He's like, I don't think it's gonna be mainstream. I think it's gonna be big, but it's gonna be underground like punk rock. And like most of the good hip hop music is underground. Most of the individual music and individual styles and creative people are underground. You know, so they out there and they got followings because of technology. Once again, because of technology, they can actually eat off of their talent with a couple 100,000 or a couple thousand people, and they can still do their art. You know, that's the plus side of it. But the only people that we really hear is the run of the mill. You know, but it's on you though. It's on you to search and who you're looking for. You can find them, but if you just a person that just tune in and see what's out there, and you take the first thing that's tossed to you, then that's what you're gonna find. But
Yeah.
like I said, it got its ups and downs, man, because of technology. You can do that hip hop or do that type of music. You know, you can do original music, but you got to work hard. You got to work hard for it, and it happen. So like it's still some good music out here, and too like even in the mainstream, like there's a few artists I listen to. Like I listen to everything. Like I don't knock it. Like I respect the work ethic of a lot of them. Like especially here in Detroit, we got a lot of young cats making music and making some money, man. So yeah, it's I don't know if they plan on like back when in the 90s and stuff, people was making hip hop. They had plans on later on what kind of music or what they was gonna be doing. Like I don't know what the mentality is now though. Like I can't really speak on that. Like if they record an album after album now, which like, do you plan on rapping 10 years from now? Or you just gonna get this money, or it's a different mentality because everything goes so quick. It go fast to where like old school probably be something that was 6 months ago. And old school used to be something that was 6 years ago.
Yep. Yep. Well, and something you mentioned when it comes to like more underground, more up and coming artists that don't have the resources and the technological piece of it, when it comes to the AI and some of these things that we see coming out now, do you think that it will become crucial for these artists to start taking some of these tools under their belt if they want to, um, you know, help progress their own work to the extent of exposure that they want to see if they're not, I guess directly receiving help from like a big label or something like that? Do you see these technologies as being positive in this realm now? Because I know there's obviously like the thing, like the full-on AI artists where it's just making fabricated, artificially made music entirely, and that's one thing. But I mean, other little tools that can sort of help artists. I'm sure that you can speak in your production sense that there's things that we have now that make the process of making music 10 times different than it ever was. I'm sure even in the last just 5 years, but
Yeah, well, shoot, like the positive note about that, like that artist that make his own music that don't need the AI. You don't need the AI for that. Use the AI to find the demographic for your music. Use the AI to send out the email blast to that demographic. Use the AI to search out what cities is looking for the type of words that you put in your music or the style of music that you make. Let the AI search the internet and those people and find them and bring them back to you or take you to them. Like use the AI to your advantage. That's what I'm saying. Like it could be weaponized, but it got so many other different uses. You could use it for more than what. Like if they using the AI to make music, then okay, you see it could do that. Find out what else can it do. It do so many other things that could work for you. So it's like just get into it and get an understanding of it and make it work for you. Because the independent artist can make the AI be his manager. He can make the AI be the label. He can make the AI be anything. The AI can disguise the voice and say it's somebody saying anything. Like you can have the AI call a label asking like, yo, this such and such records. How come y'all ain't got anything? It's up to you to get into it and see how you can use it to your benefit. They're gonna be using it against us. Use it against them. When I say them, I'm talking about the major corporations.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah, you have to. It's like, you can't be entirely unwilling to look at I don't want to say enemy, but the bigger guy's arsenal, right? And not be like willing to um at least give it a shot. Like you can't bring a bow and arrow to a machine gun fight, I guess. So
Right. Right.
um makes sense. Well, it, do you feel like a certain, and it's like it's hard for me, and people can laugh at me too, because like after doing the first episode with Ramsu, and I was talking to somebody just about editing and stuff, they were like, oh, there's an AI now that you can take your whole video and plug it into it, and you don't have to go rewatch it, it'll watch it for you and chop it up into the best
Yeah.
clips or whatever. And I was just like, oh shoot, I have to look into that.
Mm.
um but do you find a certain level of like almost, even when you make the decision to like, okay, I'm going to do this because it's going to help me, get ahead in these certain areas, is it like, do you feel like you're letting down a certain part of
Mm.
your humanity, or like your own blood and sweat into like what you do? Because it's just like, for me, it's like, I can see, how having some of these things in place to help take the load off in certain areas would make me just that more open and accessible to be in the fullest creative state that I could be, and really at the, delegation and managerial side of everything that I do. But
Mhm.
it's just like, then I also feel this wonder of like, oh, well, it's like, you know, I guess it's discernment, because it's like, how much are you willing to, I guess, give up or give away to it, and let it sort of take that off of your plate, right? Because it's like, when it comes to a secretarial type thing, that seems like a no-brainer, but then it's just like, it's making me sad, man. It's like, I try to stay away from fast food anyways, but it's like, the fully automated restaurants are here, bro. It's like, you don't even got to there's no people in them. And it's all robots, dude. So it's like, if you're going to be willing to do this, then it's just like, is it a slippery slope, or, is there really a
Double-edged sword.
balance?
You gotta find a balance that works best for you. Cause like again, like okay, for instance, to I would use AI to all right, I need a plan to promote this martial art workshop that I got. I would use AI to give me the best plan and the best demographics and how to get it out here. But I wouldn't use AI to build my martial arts workshop. Like I know how to do that. I don't need it to do that for me. You know what I'm saying? So that's the extent of where I I use it. I wouldn't let it do what I do for me, but I use it to get what I do out here, or show me the best way to present it, or the best way to get it to from A to B, or get it to people.
Yeah. Well, when it
Like
comes to
even,
this,
but look though, well, like even like with AI art, a person that's an artist could make AI art way deeper and intricate than we could if we don't do draw, or if we don't not artists. So like even on that scale, they got to look at it like that. Like the way you could do detail if you are an artist, man, is way beyond me. I could describe some shit, but you could take it there. You know what I'm saying? So it's like utilize that, utilize your know-how to give it. The because if like I said, man, like the way we could build pictures and we just inputting our words, but the artists know how to do different shade and different light and different poses, different perspectives, different aspects of it, different, all kind of stuff that we wouldn't be able to think of because that's not our field. So it's like just make it work for you for what you know.
absolutely.
Try to recognize it as much as possible, man, because there's no soul in it. That's the one thing you always notice. Whatever AI is, there's not no soul in it. You can see that. Whether it's art, pictures, video, any kind of imagery, you can see it's a soul missing out of it if you look hard enough.
And that's really what, I mean, I think, while still in lack of soul, that is what makes it, as it functions, essentially it's thriving off of its own source, I guess, or it's not the source that we all feed into. Do you think that now that you said that, do you think that by developing in all of the ways that it is, the same way that, you know, many people say that, you know, every human is just the universe trying to express itself and live itself out in as many different ways and shapes and forms and experiences as possible. Do you think that all of the different ways that the AI is expanding itself is essentially trying to do it's that itself? Do you think it's almost trying to create its own soul? Um, as part of its ultimate goal. Um,
I mean, it's hard to
because
say. It's hard to say because
is that
a lot
even
of our
possible?
perspective. Yeah, a lot of our perspective is what we see in the movies, or what they say the AI with the robot gonna do, or what it want to be. Like it might not give a shit about a soul. It might and it might not. It might feel that that's with something else totally beyond our understanding. Like it might find a whole new meaning of what a soul is to itself. So it's like we can't even say, man. Like that's why I'm like we just got to keep an eye on it because it's gonna tell us what it is because it ain't. It don't know about deception. It's just being what it is, just like an animal. It's just like it's another part of nature. It just is what it is. The AI is gonna react the same way that it is and shit. Regardless what we put into it or what we tell it, that motherfucker is its own being, just like we are. So if we watch it enough, we be able to tell what its intentions is because it's gonna show the shit. Whether it's slipping or whether it show its perspective of how it look at us, we just gotta pay attention to it.
Yep. 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 Hmm. Well, I don't know, man. If it's gotten this far, maybe it really will be 10 years from now, and they'll have the own, or the the AI itself will have its own country full of its robot spawns like we saw in the Animatrix, and it'll be a
Mhm.
part of the UN, and then I don't know, maybe we'll not get it wrong like we did in that episode.
Hey, nigga, if
But
it's like that, I'm gonna be like, listen, I don't know what they talking about. I see what y'all saying. Hey, y'all got a good plan. Like, I'm not with them.
oh
They,
yeah, no, because like I mean we like they should like we were the ones that fumbled that ball, man. It wasn't them. They showed up right, and
no,
it's
yeah.
like
But it's like AI gonna have to learn, man. This different types of humans in the different groups, man. You can't just put us all in one box. You know what I'm saying?
yeah.
That's the
And
one
I
thing
and
we
and
gotta
that's
do.
why I guess we must not put all of it in one box necessarily.
Exactly, exactly.
Yeah.
Just get an understanding of it, not treat it as a tool just for us. But it's a thing, man. It's an entity. That's a being. You know, just like an animal. Just because you can't understand an animal don't mean it's stupid. Don't mean it ain't got its purpose. Don't mean it don't know, got a reason why it's doing stuff.
Yeah.
And I don't think it's something that's new. I think it's always been. I think this just another time is awakening. I think this just in our time, this our point, our generation, and where it's recreated itself. I think it's been here before, so we don't really know what stage it's in or why it could be developing fast because it's already. This might be like the eighth time it done came. You know, I'm pretty sure this ain't the first time artificial intelligence been on this in this dimension, this reality. So we just need to keep an eye on it, man, and work with it as much as possible so we can understand it as much as possible.
Yeah, well, most people would never guess, man, the how closely related, the martial arts from any perspective and actually, keeping an eye on it, as you said, are related. And
Oh, yeah.
I'm excited for that as well. I think that will definitely be brought up and a part of some of the conversations that take place here. And what most people don't realize is the 2 days that we have set aside, Monday and Tuesday after the event, are actually going to be behind the scenes workshop build days for just the team. We're going to be preparing some stuff at University of Miami on Monday. And then on Tuesday, we're going to be heading to FIU to actually build with the folks in the psychedelic research department over there about moving the conference to have a third location for 2025. So we'll
Okay.
have UM and then Nova Southeastern, and then we'll be expanding to FIU. But I think a lot of part of what we want to do that first day, and I won't spoil or give away too much yet because it is still behind the scenes. But
Okay.
a lot of what we want to see this develop into is from I guess a metaverse perspective, and seeing how we can potentially make these tools to our aid in the development of these projects and just the furthering of um, Tamerrian and such, because we can keep talking about them, but if we don't take some time to really actually sit down and have some focused exploration with them, the same way that we would the mushrooms, then
Yeah.
we're kind of just looking at it, and I'm really excited to kind of do those things because me as an individual, I have not touched on it at all. It's like I'm sitting here in this college, dude, and I'm like being hard on myself,
Mhm.
that my grades aren't perfect, and I'm sitting over here doing it by the book. And meanwhile, I got dude next to me and he's got straight A's. And I'm not like, how you got straight A's? And he's like, oh, because Chat GPT does it all for me. So,
Right.
it's just like, not that I'm just trying to like throw in the towel and be like, all
But
right,
that's
let's
where
just
we at,
start.
though, man. That's where we at with it, and
Yeah. But
I
it's
mean,
it's
it's just
time.
perspective, man. But it's also too like what you retaining. Part of this too is to retain the shit that you learning so you can use it some kind of way. But
Yes.
you're gonna have a lot of people that's not gonna be retaining it. So it's like it's really like, man, it's like it's an iffy thing because you're gonna have people that's not really knowledgeable about certain subjects that's gonna be in control of whatever, and the person that do know more about the subject at hand, they're gonna be working for that person because they're not willing to take some of the shortcuts where they got too many morals or ethnic code to do certain things. So it's like you gotta, sometimes you gotta play the game. Sometimes it depends. Like, okay, if this is what you want to do and you want to be in this position, this is what it's gonna take to do it. Do you want to be that type of person? Are you gonna be that type of person temporarily? Are you gonna keep being that type of person to keep moving up? Are you gonna be that type of person, or it's just it's all about what it's called for, man. It's a tricky game in the future, bro. It's crazy as shit. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But you just gotta find your place and make it work for you the best of your ability, and
Mhm.
realize what you win. Yeah.
Well, just from a general sense, um, in terms of retainment, obviously, man, I'm still probably still will be for the next however many years, but I'm still trying to get this circle down from year one. So, since anybody uh obviously is not going to um walk away, I think, ready to uh fully kick butt just after one day of spending with us, even if they are, you know, not called full into the martial arts wing, what would you like to see people really walk away with and retain just from having, participated and engaged themselves in an energetic level? Because I still think that even though it's not something that, while I'm personally going to pursue a deeper practice of it myself, because that's just me. I think that there's stuff to be gained from feeling it and doing it just a little bit that will stick with you for time to come. So, um, I don't know, like what do you want to have people feel like, yeah, like this makes sense now, like
Well, sure. I want them to learn something about themselves. Really, like either
know
some.
thyself. Okay, our like big, I don't know, just the the phrase that's like stuck with us, with for me and Dr. Vito, at least since we started trying to organize all of this, is like the time is now. Like that's been sort of a theme behind what we've done. But know thyself is something that we got to start putting on this stuff too, man, because that's really is what it is about. And that know thyself, those three words was the biggest thing I left with in August as well. So
Yeah, 'cause know thyself. That's what's above all the archway and the tombs and pyramids and stuff. That's above every doorway. Know thyself in the temple. But you gotta learn something. You either gonna learn something that you didn't know that you already knew, or some, discover something about yourself. That'd be my biggest thing about dealing with my workshops. So when you coming to us about something, that you learn something about yourself, not just something from us, but something about yourself that you didn't know, or that you knew and you get confirmation on,
mhm,
or you didn't know and you just learned out the blue. So that's what's most important.
100%. Well, we've got some local, um, martial arts schools here in the local area, just whether it be uh, karate or taekwondo or jujitsu and things of these natures. So we're definitely putting the word out, and I'm hoping to potentially see some, flavors of all different kinds walk through and get a taste what this is about. And
Yeah, I hope
you know,
so, man. Like to meet some of them and do some building with them and get some of their perspectives and some of their aspects and do an exchange if possible.
yeah,
You know what I
100%.
mean?
Well, it's really been awesome, dude, because it's like I obviously our fencing classes are an hour, and I can only, do so much with that hour. 30 minutes of it at least has to be pretty much like them on the strips and equipment, pretty much really fencing. But at least in the warm-up stretch sort of segment of the time, there were all sorts of little exercises and things that I took from the martial arts conference, and I'm now fully integrating that into the training regimen. I'm even having them meditate, and it's just
Mm-hmm.
seeing the level of difference of what we're getting out of our practices. Just weaving some of these little things in there has been incredible. And I know, at least from fencing, and it just being a very designed for competition sport nowadays, and also coming from a very Europeanized tradition, I think it's lost some of that um, meditative element when it comes to the schooling. And it's really beautiful to be seeing that kind of come back, at least in our club, and to know that I got that from you guys. And that it's like I've had a few parents out this was like, what have you been having our kids do, like, while they've been out there? Because they just seem more relaxed, and like they their emotions are more under control while they're fencing, and it just I don't know, like things have just, and I'm just like, well, I went to a martial arts conference up in Detroit, and it was with the Tamerrian Institute, and this is this are things that I pulled from the African systems. And it's like I really hope that not only just me as a fencer, but really any kid coming from any discipline can come in and have something to walk away with, and that we can all continue to build and um, just grow and share, because that's really what this is about. So
Yeah, and make sure you hold tight to the history of fencing. Why it started, the purpose behind it, the reason. That always that's where the fundamentals come from, because the reason why it's even made or why it's done. As long as you keep the fundamentals, all that expert shit, all that expert level and all that high level stuff still is based on the fundamentals, the principles, the basic steps. It's just stacked on. As long as you keep the history of why, you always be good with it. And too, man, to be a great practitioner of your art, you got to be a great student. And if you're teaching the children, that's what up your skill, because you constantly going over the basics. You constantly getting an understanding of the fundamentals, and then you learn the stuff you teaching them. You're like, oh yeah, that's really what that's for. You finding out new moves and stuff, because you got to stand like this. So when you, oh, that's what it is all these years. So being a teacher is actually how you become a great student.
yeah, it's like you're right on the dot, man, because I started teaching classes, and going through a couple of them, if I've got 5 weeks, it's like that's literally, if I'm doing two classes before, the I would fence with the adult group at night, that's like two whole practices that I just did before my own, where I literally went through the drills and I didn't even realize it. Because it's one thing when you're doing it for your own practice and it's just you trying to work out, but when you're teaching the group, it's like you're zoned out and you're in the zone for them, and it doesn't necessarily feel like you're doing the work for yourself. But you get done and you're like, oh shit, I just did 45 more minutes of the drilling with them, and I got all of that for myself. And it's like, yeah, man, 100%. Like working with beginners is it's awesome. And then and I see the value of like just getting back to the basics and working that over and over and over again, because all the fancy stuff comes later and comes in the heat of the moment when it's needed. But it's
Exactly.
like that basic first step and first
It's just a
position.
variation. It's a variation of all the basics. You're just doing different variations of the basics.
Yep.
It's all the same shit. That's where the advancement come from. Just a different way of seeing it and being able to use it because you understand the concept of it.
Well, and for you guys, this was something I wanted to get into for part two. Your guys' system is very circular based, and for me, just as a student, it's been really interesting delving into that, because starting as a fencer myself, and from sport fencing, and being limited to that strip where we can only move forward and backwards, um,
Mm.
that playing into how your skills develop, to then widening it out. And like obviously when you're like in a combat situation with somebody, whether it's in the street or even in another competition form, outside of fencing, it's really not limited to to a strip, but when you, without really watching it and actually, watching it for more than just seeing it as a fight, you can really see the um the circle present in everything that takes place in a lot of these disciplines. And um it's really neat too, just how the relationship between the circle in your guys' practice, and then also the circle within the circle with the mushroom. So you know
Mm-hmm.
um
It's a part of nature. All this is concepts off of nature.
yep. It's all written in a fabric of metaphors and like symbologies that you know express themselves through the both the engagement in it, and also just the, yeah, like explaining everything that goes into it. um Man, was there a particular, because obviously you all have had many, but was there a mushroom experience where, like, after having been in training for so long, and having really put in the work for like a decent chunk of time, where you went and had ceremony and it was just like, it wasn't necessarily a super rough ride or particular challenging, but it was just one of those times where it was like you got hit with so much of like, oh, like it all makes sense now, like this, like it all sort of came together and crashed at you at once, and it was just like rewarding or relieving, I guess. So is that something you've ever experienced? Because like that's
I had a
something.
few of those. Yeah, I had a few of those before. Few of those. Some not just with some been on, martial arts level, some just been on life levels, period. So yeah, I don't experience that. It's been times where uh you learn certain movements because you experiencing something and you do the movement while you're there and be like, oh, that shit is real. I could really do that here. So yeah, you do learn certain stuff. I mean, that's part of it though. That's part of certain training. That's part of certain levels of it. Like when we came into the mushrooms, we came into it different from what a lot of people come into it for. So it's like then we also learned that it's not for everybody. It's not for everybody all the time, or sometimes you gotta wait certain periods before people ready, or some people gotta have a reason or a purpose to be doing it. It ain't just for everybody just to be doing some shit. So, it's part of the process you learn over the years. So, some parts had to get a little more sacred. It gotta be sacred. It could be the information could be out here for everybody, but if it's not. I don't think it's meant for everybody. Not at the moment.
Yeah.
But for
And
those who dealing with it, deal with the shit and stop playing.
yeah, because it is about that time, I would say. And
Man, yeah.
yeah, and I think we're all, I don't know, I think we're all gearing up, and there's about to be another good season of people um you know coming out to get back in it, I think.
Yeah, yeah,
um
I see it. Because it's a filtering process. You got a lot of effective phony starting to get recognized, and you got a lot of people who really want to do the work. It's still a rough fight though, because you still got it's a filtering process. Like I said, I don't want to get to talking about people or nothing, but it's a filtering process. You see who real with it, and if you just pay attention, just pay attention.
yeah, well, I don't know, I won't associate it specifically, but it's just making me think, because most of the time when I think of a snake, I think of green. That's just the color that comes to mind first, like just generic like snake. But um that has seemed to be your animal expression um in your practice of martial arts. Did you have a like, just growing up, or throughout your youth or childhood or before finding your way into Tamerrian? Were snakes special to you in any way, or was that something that like um, you sort of discovered with the institute?
Well, when I was younger, I kind of I wasn't like fascinated with them, but I always had a certain kind of interest in them, but not nothing to where I studied them. I always did have an interest in them, and actually, the first animal I started dealing with when we started dealing with animals was falcon. I went from falcon to wolf, and then the stationary animal was snake. And snake is the first animal where really I feel a deeper connection with the spirit, to where I'm like, okay, this the one that chose me. So the animal chooses you. It usually necessarily be what you think. Because a lot of times people are like, well, I think I might be this, or I might be. It usually be something you ain't had no idea you was gonna be. You know. So, but then there's multiple stages too. It's just that's what just chose to be dominant with me. And then I
And
also learned too, like how people get a snake a certain kind of nature. I don't have a snake type of nature. You know me. You know what I'm saying? I'm not a snake type of
for
person.
sure, yeah.
And then I also learned that snakes getting a bad rap because they don't be bothering nobody. A lot of them don't bother nobody. It's just
Right.
if you can't see them and they hit you, then hey man, that's your fault. You just can't get close to them without announcing yourself.
Yeah. Well, is there a when it comes to the animal system, is there a particular association of the weapons with a specific animal? Because like I noticed your son uses the staff primarily in his expressions, and then you seem to focus a lot more on the knife work. I know you guys dabble in all of it, but
Weapons,
uh,
yeah. Where it's like animals, only animals that really use weapons or use tools is the is the monkey.
right.
He do the dog face baboon. That's what he deal with. So it's the staff exactly. So anything else like a lion gonna use a weapon, a snake gonna use a weapon, or a wolf not gonna use a weapon, or a ram is weapons. They use the weapons that they have. So if I do use a weapon, I still emulate the movement like a stick. My stick movements would be totally different. It'd be more poking, or if I got a sword. So like when you see me with the knife, most of the time I'm doing with two knives because that's the fangs to me.
Hmm.
So even if I do use a weapon, it's still gonna have a snake type of style. It's still gonna have different kind of snake type of movement, or the strike's gonna be still a certain kind of way, or so it's not that. I don't know. I guess you can say it's like the animal style with the weapon, but it's not something that we came up with. But we might though. Now I think about it, because we do kind of modify how we move with our weapons according to what animal you got. But most of the animals ain't going. They don't use weapons though. So
Right.
for me to
Well,
be like this,
this, right? Because I mean, you got
yeah,
the
they use what they got. Yeah, so I gotta develop this to be the weapon.
hmm.
So I gotta be able to hit you with this and be able to do the same damage that the animal will do, that a snake could do.
Dude, there's this clip, bro. I really like. I wish everybody would go rewatch it, and like you gotta, you almost gotta like put the YouTube on like half speed or like slow it down a little bit just to even see like the full movement without it going too fast like an airplane propeller or something. But there's a clip of you in the martial arts demonstration where it's two clips. One of them, I think you have the knives, and the other it's just with your hand like this, and it moves so fast that it's like light speed, and you can't even, it's like a fan blade or something, like how you look at a fan and you can't actually see it. It's like that was the same thing with your hands, and it's the coolest thing ever, bro. It's the coolest thing ever.
Yeah, thanks. I appreciate that. That's work, man. That's a lot of work. It take a lot of work and dedication to get to that point.
Well, it's beautiful, bro. Like people, I don't know. This is only in town, for once a year. So, students skip your tickets to the Nova Art Museum, Sunday the 7th, and come out to this
Yeah,
because,
come check it out.
we've got real physical art for you guys to experience, and
It's
it's
right on
gonna be
campus,
incredible.
man. Yeah, it's right on campus. Don't miss out. Shoot. If I
Yeah.
was a student, I'd definitely be. Yeah, I'd be happy to find it.
This year it's going to be see, the last 2 years we've had it over in the Mako multi-purpose room, which is on like the residential side of campus. That's that dorm building we were in with the little outside pavilion area and stuff last year. But we're actually going to have it in the university center this year, in this area called Flight Deck, which is sort of like a like food / conference / workshop present, like it's just this multi-purpose sort of space that they have built in, and it's the mainframe building in the campus where they have the food court and the gym and all this stuff. It's like a spine of a building that people walk through, and it leads to all the different classroom buildings. It's pretty much like the center of campus, so it's going to be a lot more in people's faces this year, and people are going to be walking by like the whole campus and peeking in and being like, what's this, what's going on? And it's going to be dope. So I'm looking forward to it, because last year's space it was great. Like having that outdoor area was awesome, but it's just like literally the whole campus is going to see what's up this year.
That's what's up, man.
Let's go. Yeah, man.
Let's go.
Oh, well, do you actually have a place where you have music released that you like people to listen to? Not right now, because I was gonna say, if you want to drop the plug for that, please be my guest. But
I ain't promoting nothing right now. I'm just promoting this right now, man. One thing.
Okay.
But my son King Tungyang, he got an album on all the platforms right now, King shit. So I'm proud of him, man, because he's doing pretty good. So yeah, that's why I promote him. We're gonna promote something.
Go check it out, guys. Go support, especially local Detroit area guys. Go support your artists, man, for sure.
Definitely. That's about it, man. I guess we can wrap it up, man. I'm gonna hop in the shower, put some hot water on his shoulder.
Absolutely, bro, for sure, bro. Well, is there anything else you want to get off your chest here in our last minute? Anything else you want to let the people know, or we good to go?
Just coming down. I'm just excited. I can't wait. Let's get it in. Shit.
Yeah, it's gonna be awesome.
Too, bro. I appreciate everything you doing, man. You and Dr. V. You know what I'm saying? Your girl, man. Y'all really doing a lot and doing it big for us. You know, I want you to know they'll never go overlooked. You know, so you always found, man. Thanks
Appreciate a lot. That. Well, it's all love, and I truly like hope you guys know just how much anticipation is building in me, like every day, just like almost being graduated, because it's just going to open up so much more free time, and it's just like all I want to do is just come up there and keep this going and get deeper into it than I have been able to before. Right. So it's going to be dope. But yeah, well, we'll go ahead and wrap this thing up here. So guys, thank you again for joining in. This was part 2 of episode 2 of the Dress Rehearsal for Death podcast. This has been our premiere month for the podcast, leading up to our 2024 Tamerrian Sciences and Survival Summit coming up on April 7th. So please make sure to buy your tickets at www.entheoplex.org/Miami Entheogens. We have the Eventbrite link there for Sunday, as well as the Eventbrite link for Wednesday, which is free and open to the public. That is the beach ceremony honoring Ahati Kilindi Iyi, and it's going to be an intimate and blast of a gathering. So we really hope you plan to come down for the full 4 days. If you do, you'll have 2 free days to explore South Florida, and we've got plenty of fun places to keep you busy until we get back together on Wednesday. But that being said, like we said earlier in the episode, our lines are open. If you have any questions, please feel free to hit either of us up. And we really look forward to seeing you guys. But Brad, thank you so much for joining me, bro. I really appreciate it, man. It was an honor to have you as my second guest and to start this podcast with my Tamerrian brothers. And you mean the world to me, bro. So thank you so much.
Same here, man. I'm always here on deck. Just hit me up.
Absolutely, bro.